Let's talk about another story we're tracking this morning. Indeed's 25 best jobs of 2019 curated list released, with machine learning engineer taking the lead. Not surprisingly, tech jobs have the largest presence on the list, but for the first time, legal and attorney jobs jumped on the list, making it in the top 10. Joining us now through Skype is Paul Wolfe, who's Indeed's SVP of Human Resources. Paul, it's great to have you on today. I want to start with the top listing here. With machine learning engineer, because this is something that we've heard over and over from tech companies who say there is so much demand for these engineers. They're almost being recruited like athletes out of colleges. Can you talk about just whether there's enough skill in that market to meet the kind of demands from these big companies that are building out their AI?
No, I think it's an interesting question. If you think about AI, kind of even the last 5 years, it's in so many things that we use every single day, whether it be our cars or home sound systems or even any of the home assistant systems that people are buying today. And I think that there is probably a bit of a supply and demand issue. We've seen in the 2015 to 2018, which is the data that we used for our list this year, we've seen 344% growth for machine learning engineers. And so I think the nice thing to know about that is not all of those jobs necessarily require a 4-year CS degree from university. There's a lot of boot camps that people can go through and other ways to gain the skills to be able to do those jobs. But I do think we have a bit of a supply and demand issue with the surgence or the growth of AI in everything that we use.
Away from tech, one of the jobs that we saw land on the top 10 this year is legal attorney jobs. That was the first time we've seen that. What do you attribute that to? You know, we were talking in the newsroom about whether there's more legal action being taken as a result of the Me Too movement. Is there any particular thing that you can point to?
It's interesting that we had 3 legal jobs on the list this year for the first time out of the 25. I think part of it comes from in the U.S., we've experienced a tight labor market for the last few years. And I think that's what I attribute it to. We've got a much broader mix, a much diverse mix of jobs in the 25 this year than we've seen in past years. And I think it relates to this tight labor market that we've been seeing. Candidates have a choice. And I think more and more employers are trying to get out there and get their jobs posted. And we're seeing more of those jobs posted because of that supply-demand challenge.
Paul, Dan Roberts here. I'm curious if you guys also track not just the top jobs, but where people are moving for those jobs. You know, we know which cities in America are tech cities right now. Obviously, Austin is very hot, but as I understand it, even places like Denver and then obviously Seattle, where Amazon is, they have a lot of tech jobs. But as Akiko mentioned, we also have legal jobs making onto your list. Are there any top cities for those jobs? Where are you seeing young people move to for new jobs?
It's an interesting question. I don't know specifically about the legal jobs we have on the list this year and what cities people are moving to, but we see more and more over time with all the data we collect, more and more people moving to find a job that they're excited about and they find challenging and they want. They think is their best job, because everybody defines best job a little bit differently, what's important to them. I also think we are starting to see companies become really smart about going to where the talent is rather than just building an office in San Francisco and looking to hire engineers in San Francisco. And we all know that's a challenge because here in San Francisco, where I am today, you've got all the large tech companies that have been around for a while. You have lots of startups. And so the war for engineering talent is really challenging. But we're starting to see a lot of remote work from home type jobs and then just companies opening offices where they see larger talent pools that they can tap into where there's not as much competition. So I think movement in general is a general trend we've seen for the last few years.
Okay, Paul, we're going to have to leave it there. Appreciate your time this morning. Paul Wolfe joining us from Indeed, the SVP of Human Resources there.
Thanks so much.